Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Irondinos. This is Orcs Must Die, one of this month's Games with Gold. This is an action tower defense game. Yeah, as you see, I've gone straight into the action here. It gives you a little bit of a tutorial within a story mode type thing. It gives you a little bit of the story background before you start. I've skipped all that. You can experience that for yourselves. Yeah, this is a huge surprise. I wasn't expecting much from this at all. But I mentioned before in our podcast that I thought that it was very much like Dungeon Defenders. And it is. It plays a lot like Dungeon Defenders. And so if you like that game, you'll love this game. It's very, very good. Those potions, just so you know, as you can see, I'm probably not picking it up there. It's because my health's not down. It's an automatic pickup. So you haven't got to press a button or anything like that. You just pick it up when your health is low. So yeah, what's your initial thoughts, dude?
It looks largely like I expected to based on the couple of trailers I watched. It does look quite fun.
Good times.
I think it would probably be a lot of fun if we could get 2 or 3 of us together and have a bit of a blast at it.
Oh yeah, for certain. As I was playing for it, I was like, oh, this would be so much fun with like the guys and everything. It's pretty fun on your own, but yeah, it is. Yeah, I reckon it'll be a blast.
I take it you've laid those traps there. Is there like a coin system after the raid when you get to lay more traps, or?
Yeah, so if you look down on the bottom left there, you'll see that number going up. 1,784. That is your money to buy more traps, basically. The more you fight, the more you gain, the more you kill.
Oh, you lost a dude.
Yeah, those are actually automatically placed, funny enough, in this first level, just for you. This is like the intro level.
Yeah.
It's a very simple level. If you look on the map on the top right, you've got the crystal in the circle behind me, and then you've got where the orcs are coming dead in front. Later on, the levels get a lot more challenging, as you'll see. Lots of twists and turns. But this is just a very straightforward, just to introduce you to the game, and it does an excellent job of doing that.
Yeah, I like it. It's very clear. Like, you can see everything you need to see on that screen, and it's all very, very clear as to what everything is and what you've got of what and where everything is stationed. Yeah.
Funny enough, I love this crossbow. I very rarely went to the sword. This crossbow, if you time it right, you'll see the cursor in the middle. It gets bigger the more you rapid fire. If you just slow it down, you can get a lot more accurate shots, and then you can get a lot of headshots, which is like instant kill. So yeah, that's a good tip for you guys. The 2 traps I've got there are, so it's floor spikes, and the other one is like a pit that slows them down.
Yeah, like tar, I guess.
Yeah, they're your basic 2 to begin with, and as each level goes on, you'll gain another trap. Yeah, it's a good little dance at the end there. So the more you do, the more traps you get, the more choice you've got, and so forth and so forth. So this next one, you get an arrow wall, which I absolutely love. I love this thing so much. Hard to place, as in to get the correct place for it. So the orcs and the enemies don't run how you think they're going to run. They run in all different sort of directions. That they do follow a path, but it's not the path you think they follow. So you kind of got to pick that up pretty quick.
That's a nice little touch. While it's waiting for you to unleash the horde, they're actually bashing at the doors. I like that. It's just a little touch they didn't need to put in, and it just adds.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So this is the gateway, the rip that you're defending.
Yep.
The little lights that you're seeing floating across the floor, that is the direction that the enemies are going to be running in. And as you can see, that they're not running down the centre. They're running. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that very first of all. So a couple of the traps I place a bit wrongly, but I soon correct. So yeah, this is the trap placement. It's very simple. You just flick across with your right and left bumpers to select what trap you want, and it appears. And if it's in green, you can place it down. If it's in red, you can't. Very simple, very easy. Love that. It was really nice and easy. I've played some games before where the traps, I don't know if you've experienced this, the traps are really awkward to place and really difficult to place, and I hate that. It ruins the game. But yeah, but this, no, like, it's really simple, really easy. But very, very good, very good. This is the second level out of, so it's directly after that first intro level that you experience.
Yeah.
I skip ahead a little bit in a minute just because you've seen the waves, but it's the end waves that are the more interesting. They get a lot more difficult a lot more quickly.
Okay, they kind of did a similar thing in Plants vs Zombies, where you'd fight a bunch of waves, and then the final wave would be crazy and would have like some boss style enemies and stuff. Oh, that's not what I expected that to do.
Yeah. I stood there specifically for it because I thought I'm not going to see this actually operate, so
yeah,
I better actually see this actually happen. So yeah, it just fires arrows out. The good thing is, which you'll see later on, you can upgrade the traps to more powerful traps. There's a cool little system for that, and I think it's the more levels you do or the more skulls you collect. I'm not entirely sure on that.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's a the skulls seem to be some kind of ranking system, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So that'll allow you to do the upgrades, and you'll see that in a bit.
I really like how arcadey it is. When you shoot something, like a big colourful number pops up telling you presumably hit damage or something like that, or how many coins you've earned or whatever. And when you get a bunch of headshots, like at the top it comes up with a big cartoony helmet with arrows through the thing saying headshot. Like, and there's when they get a bit closer, there was some coming off the enemies themselves. It makes it very pleasing because with stuff like this, I do find that doing this can get very boring and repetitive. So the more kind of fun graphics and stuff you can get, so you're not just looking at the same orc running in the same pattern directly at you, is all the better. It just makes it all the more visually pleasing. And this looks really cool. This looks really fun. It's like, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. All the worries I had about this, it just all melted away as soon as I started playing it. Like, I was worried about the trap placements. I needn't to worry about that at all. I was worried about having to switch weapons. Like, sometimes they make that really awkward. Not at all. It's just a one flick with the right bumper, one flick with the left bumper. Very, very easy. Controls, very smooth. Very smooth, very responsive, does exactly what I want it to do, when I want it to do. And the challenge ramps up. Like, it doesn't stay the same. Yeah, it just ramps and ramps and ramps, and the more levels you do. In fact, I'm on a level at the minute, so after I recorded this, I played a bunch more, which is always a good sign.
Absolutely.
And I come across this level that I'm really stuck on. I cannot beat it. There's multiple ways the enemy can come, and I'm really struggling to place the traps, because as you can see, you get a limit of how much you can place based on the money you start with. So the more waves you deal with, the more money you get. So that first initial placement has to be good, otherwise you will get overrun. So, but yeah, it's absolute joy to play.
See, now here's where it actually plays differently to how I thought it was going to from the trailer, because the trailer I was watching made it look like what you're doing now, walking around setting the traps, it made it look like that's what you were doing as the hordes were coming. So you weren't actually then also having a crossbow or a sword or whatever to physically engage with them. So it felt like a resource management sim that you weren't viscerally involved in the combat.
Yes.
Much more interested with it being this kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I was worried about that as well after seeing the trailer. It does give you the ability to place traps down during the actual wave.
Yeah.
So if, for instance, the wave starts coming and you realise you've misplaced one of the traps, or one of the traps is slightly wrong, you can alter that as long as you've got the money for it. The selling aspect of it, so you can sell the traps you've already placed and you get back what you've spent on it, so that's pretty good as well.
Yep.
So yeah, you do have the ability to put them down, but it does give you that time in between certain waves to replace traps. So it'll always give you that time.
Later on, does that become a timer to increase the pressure on you, or have you always got the wave doesn't start until you push the button to start it?
You get two gaps. You get a first gap as the level starts, and with your set amount of money that you get, and then you get another break just before the end wave. Just before the final wave of the level, you get that break. In between the middle waves, you get a countdown. So it's I think it's 10 seconds. So you get 10 seconds to quickly adjust, quickly sort yourself out. Like, for instance, those bomb barrels.
Yeah.
They're obviously they're a one-use item, so you've got to be very careful where you place those. So if you're using those specifically, or if you select them in your hotbar, you're going to want those 10 seconds to replace those.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's done really, really well. That 10 seconds does add a certain amount of pressure to it, so I got it wrong quite a fair few times. Quite nicely edited out of the video, thankfully.
Coward.
Okay, I wanted to include it, but I thought, no, I can't. That's really bad. But yeah, it's, as you see, these are the barrels. Gives a nice wide radius. I didn't use that barrel to its best ability, as you'll see soon enough. But yeah, they are pretty useful.
So I noticed you had a couple of other soldiers, knights with you. Do you get to choose them, or does the game just auto-select, okay, you get X amount of these, you can't... Can you add more of them to help defend, or is that just like a standardised thing?
You can, but it's later on in the levels. I found it's pretty random between each level if you get a guy to help you or not.
Oh, right.
So within the first couple of levels, I found a guy always waiting near the crystal.
Yeah.
So you may have saw in the previous level, I had a knight next to me.
Yeah.
Helping me out. The archers that were in the first level, you get those in the level after this, I believe. So they're like a trap that you can select.
Cool.
They're expensive, so you've got to be very careful with how you place them. Probably because they're quite powerful. So they're not going to give you too many of those. But yeah, they're very, very good. What I found actually with the archers, when you're placing them, as they get highlighted and you're trying to place them down, it gives you a rotation button, so you can rotate where they're watching.
Yep.
I like that and I hate that. So initially I thought if I place an archer, he'll just do a 360 of where he is. No matter where the orcs are or the enemies are, he will just shoot if they're in his range. But it's not. It's very much a tactical thing of, if you place me in this direction, I'm only going to shoot in this direction.
Ah.
Yeah, he does alter slightly, a bit left to right, obviously, but he will always shoot the direction you place him. And I couldn't, for the life of me, there may be an option for this, but I couldn't figure out how to put him on a 45 degree. I could only do it on the straight and 90-degree axis. However, in the first level, they were pointing at a 45-degree angle. So I think you can do it. I just haven't figured out how. So that was a bit annoying. That was the only slightly downside I found, really. But as I say, it's a good thing as well, I think, because it really does increase the difficulty of having to place a trap like an archer or a knight. The knights, I think, work on a bit of more of a radius type thing. So if you place them down, they will move within that radius, just so that they can fight. But the archers, they're pretty much stationary. They don't move.
Are you going to use that bomb or what?
Do you know what? I placed it and I kept thinking to use it, and for some reason I did not use it. Like, I think I accidentally shot it in one of my go-throughs. I don't know if I included it in the video. I can't remember. But no, I didn't.
Your guy has a lot of different victory dances. I like that.
Yes. Again, a nice little touch at the end as well. Yeah, it's quite cool. So at the beginning in the video, your master, because you're just an apprentice, so your master gets killed and you take over the defense. That's the whole story behind it.
Yeah. And
so it's almost a baptism of fire. So he's very much the cheeky, naughty type apprentice who doesn't care and does what he wants. So it portrays that as you win each level. He does like this. He's quite cocky with it type thing. It's quite good. Yeah.
I like that the skulls you get at the end of the levels you use for the upgrades. That's quite cool. I take it you can go back and replay levels to get better.
Yes.
To get better scores, and I'm guessing there's like a. I don't know how the skulls work. Do you know how that works? Is that like based on headshots or based on kills or based on time?
I think it's based on levels. So if you beat a level, you'll get so many skulls as a reward for that level. Because as I was shooting the headshots, I was getting a lot of skulls. But as you saw then in the upgrades, I only had so many. So. I don't think it correlates to the headshots, but I think it correlates to how many levels you beat, and you'll get so many per level as a reward. So you can only do so many upgrades per level, if you like. I think the most of them, the initial upgrade is 8 skulls, so it's quite expensive. I could only do 1, and I upgraded the spikes. I thought they were the most useful.
Yeah. Are the Orcs able to destroy laid traps?
Yes. Yes, they can. If I found it's very much if they get in their way, as in it stops them from running, then they will destroy them. If they can run through them, but obviously take damage, then they won't destroy them. They'll just run through them. So later on, you'll get a barrier.
Yeah.
If you completely block off the way through to the crystal, they will lay waste to them completely. If you tunnel them into, in my later levels, I wish I would have recorded it actually, that I created like a tunnel, like a zigzag tunnel for them to follow, and they followed it. They didn't destroy the barriers at all. They just followed the path that I had selected with the barriers. So I found that quite like a typical tower defense type thing to put in a game. I quite enjoy it. It does make it a bit more strategic, whereas if you just place a barrier down anywhere and he just destroys it, it almost makes it useless. So what's your final thoughts, dude?
That looks a lot better and a lot more entertaining than I was expecting. I'm going to give this one a go. Definitely. What about you? Are you going to complete it?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. I really love this game. I think it's going to be on my Xbox for quite a while. So, on that note, we shall bid you farewell. See you later. Bye.
Bye.